Hi everyone, and welcome back to Living Well and Wild. I'm Alexis, and today I wanted to share with you all a little bit of the work that I've been doing in trying to become a morning person. And I'm just gonna let that sink into my body for a second because let me tell you all, the struggle is very, very real in this area. For my entire life, as far back as I can remember, I have never, ever been a morning person. And Mom, Dad, and Chris, if you're watching this right now, just stop your laughing, stop your comments. I know they're coming. And you know, I'm sure if you were to talk to my parents or my spouse, they would wholeheartedly agree that I am a night owl. I have memories, and we're not gonna say fond memories. I have memories of my middle and high school years of my parents trying so hard to get me up for school in the morning. I had a super loud alarm clock, and that was usually followed by loud knocks on the door and gentle encouragement to get myself out of bed. Now, I don't know what it was because it wouldn't matter how long I had slept the night before, if I got, 6 hours or 8 hours or 9 hours of sleep, none of that seemed to matter. Now, it all worked out. Obviously, I'm just fine and I'm sitting here in front of you today and I consider myself a relatively accomplished person. However, I have lots of big dreams and big goals for this year and for the next 5 years, 10 years, and pretty much for the rest of my life. I feel like I'll always have something that I'm going to be working on and striving to achieve. And I came to the conclusion after lots of thought that I'm really gonna have to start to get up earlier to accomplish all of the things that I want to accomplish. And if you think about it, working hours are typically 9 to 5. So if you're working with a business or collaborating with a company, or if there are meetings to attend, those are usually gonna be within those hours, unless you work in some industry that typically does its business at night, of course. So I think it's really, really important to be up and at 'em during those hours, especially if you want to include things like working out and personal development as part of your day. So there are a few things that I have found that have been helping me in this path to becoming more of a morning person and getting up early. So I thought I'd share a few of those with you today. So the first tip that I want to share with you all is that most of the things that you're going to want to do to help yourself become more of a morning person are going to have to be done the night before. And I know we all talk about setting yourself up for success, but I think in this area, for me, this is absolutely key. So one of the first things that I started to do in order to help myself be more prepared the night before is to, of course, go to bed earlier. So I recommend, especially if you are a night owl and you're staying up super late, that maybe you start out with a transition in getting to bed earlier. So let's say you go to bed at 11:30, maybe try going to bed at 11 for a week or so, and then you're in bed by 10:30 for a week or so, and then eventually maybe you'll be in bed by 10, and maybe that's your sweet spot, or maybe 10:30 is your sweet spot. I think somewhere in that time frame is what's going to work for me personally, and then that'll be kind of the foundation that allows you to at least get a good night's sleep so that you can have an easier time of waking up earlier in the morning. Another thing that I've been doing in the new year is wearing blue light glasses when I'm working on the computer or my iPad or my iPhone in the evening. So I will show you the ones that I have. So they come in a case like this, and they are by the brand Gamma Ray, and you can get them on Amazon. They were on my wish list, and my sister and her boyfriend so graciously got them for me. So thank you so much, Danielle and Jarrett. These have been absolutely amazing, and I will show you what they look like. So they're the glasses themselves. I don't know if you guys can see the tint of the lens, but they do have a yellow tint, and these are blue light blocking glasses. So I will try them on for you like this. This is what they look like. I really like them because number one, they're really lightweight, so they're not super heavy sitting on the bridge of your nose or on your ears to give you a headache or anything like that. I actually just forget that they're on sometimes if I'm, sitting at my desk in my office working on my computer. And although the yellow tint on these is quite subtle, I have found that my eye strain and the tiredness in my eyes has been reduced significantly, which I think is incredible. I will go ahead and link these in the description box below. I don't remember what the price was off the top of my head, but I want to say somewhere between $25 and $35, so not that expensive. And like I said, these have worked wonders for me. Another thing that I've been doing, which has been a lot harder than I expected actually, was not charging my phone overnight in the bedroom. So like most people, I was using my phone as my alarm. It would be right there on the nightstand next to me charging, which would be an invitation for me to just check Instagram one more time, or check my email, or check Facebook, or check Pinterest. I found myself a couple times blinking and looking at the clock, and an hour and a half would have passed, and what did I have to show for it? Nothing. I was scrolling through Pinterest, scrolling through Instagram, and now it's way past my bedtime, and I know I'm gonna have a really rough time in the morning getting out of bed, functioning, and being my best. So what I actually started doing is leaving my phone in my office to charge overnight, which meant that I also had to go online and purchase myself an actual alarm clock. I also got that from Amazon, and again, also very inexpensive, so I will link that in the description box below. If you're looking for a really nice alarm clock, definitely go check that one out. Of course, some of the more general things that you can also do is making sure that you're getting enough movement during the day, because exercise, of course, is very important, and it can help you get to sleep at night, which has been my personal experience. And also making sure that you're eating the right foods and not eating too late in the evening, so that when you go to bed, you don't have that food kind of sitting in your stomach and your stomach's still working and digesting, as that might keep you up as well. And speaking of nutrition, for those of you who are really sensitive to caffeine, I would also recommend limiting your caffeine to the morning and afternoon, and setting a time for yourself that you switch over to caffeine-free drinks, because too much caffeine, especially if you're very sensitive, can also prevent you from getting a good night's sleep. Now, when it comes to actually getting yourself up in the morning, of course, you're gonna have to be motivated by something. So remind yourself of why you want to get up early. And for me, of course, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I do have a lot of goals and things that I want to accomplish. And the only way I'm gonna be able to do that is to make sure that I'm being really efficient with the time that I have during the day. And the same way that I recommended transitioning yourself to going to bed earlier, I also recommend a slow transition in getting up earlier in the morning. Now, I have to say that when I first started this a few weeks ago, I think I made the critical mistake of jumping from getting up at around 9 or so, which I know some of you are probably cringing, as that's probably very late, but getting up around 9 to getting up at 6. And I think for me personally, that was way too big of a jump all at once overnight. So I've re-strategized my approach to this, and I think in the same way that I transitioned to going to bed earlier at night, I think I'm gonna transition in getting up earlier in the morning. So for example, instead of getting up at 9, I'll start getting up at 8:30, and then 8, and then 7:30. And if that's even too much for you, you can break it down even further and maybe get up 15 minutes earlier. So those are just a few of the things that I've been doing to become more of a morning person and that have worked for me personally. And I absolutely welcome any tips or suggestions that you may have of things that have worked for you if you are a former night owl, now morning person. So if you do have any suggestions, leave them in the comments below, and I will be so excited to read them. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next week.